Hello, 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 Curvies. Hello, hello. How are you this evening, Curvies? I hope you can hear me okay. Let me do a mic check real quick. Mic check, mic check, mic check. All right, you can hear me fine. And if I can hear me fine, that means you can hear me fine. Though, I'm not sure if anybody's coming. Oh, look, Corey, supporting before she goes to bed. How was your day, beautiful? I hope you had a great day. I am up here, Corey. I'm so glad you came to play because, my topic is Tom Sandoval. And we were going to listen to his first interview, that of all people, Howie Mandell. Yes, blow up a glove on your head, your nose, Howie Mandell. Yes, the judge of that freaking talent show, Howie Mandel. Well, he got the first interview with Tom Sandoval of all people, Curvies. So, Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby's voice. Yeah, that cartoon was so good. I used to like Bobby.
Yep, exactly. So he landed the first freaking interview with Tom Sandoval. And, nobody likes Tom, but I've been saying that I was wrong. It did happen. I already admitted that. And then once I found out that it happened, then I started saying things like, oh, maybe Arianna shouldn't have let another woman in our house if she wasn't screwing Tom. Maybe that's not such a good idea. And people, some people thought I was blaming her, but I wasn't. I was just speaking as a woman from a woman's purview. Like, don't start none, won't be none. There's a couple simple things to me. I'm not blaming Arianna for being a nice friend. And don't set yourself up, right? I mean, like, if you're in a committed relationship and you guys go from having sex to being roommates, do not have no other girls around your man unless you want those other girls to be around your man like that. It's just opportunity. There's nothing but space and opportunity in that situation. And it's exactly what happened. Let Tom tell it. And what I thought probably what had happened was, I was like, they never really seemed on Vanderpump Rules, which is on Bravo. Arianna and Tom Sandoval have been going out for 9 years now. She's been on the show 9 years. Well, has the show been on 9 years? No, didn't it leave and come back? I don't really know. They've been in a relationship 9 years, but didn't he date Kristen for like 2? But then Kristen dated James for 1, and then he met Arianna. Ooh, how long has the show been on? What season is it? Lord have mercy. It's a blur. All I know is Scandoval is happening, and Tom finally gave his first interview. So I don't know how many people are going to come through to listen to this, but I was very interested in finally hearing Tom's side of the story, because the people I knew I didn't want to hear from, I kept hearing from. The Lala, the Katie, the Sheena. Those 3. Oh, the James. I definitely didn't want to hear from them. None of them. Okay. It doesn't have anything to do with them. Who I wanted to hear from was Tom Sandoval, Arianna Maddox, Raquel Levy, and Tom Schwartz. And the only reason I wanted to hear from Tom Schwartz was to hear from him personally. Did he or did he not know? Was he the cover man for his freaking friend Tom? And as it turns out, he kind of wasn't? Okay, so Tom Sandoval sat down with Howie Mandell earlier today, and I have it all queued for us so we can listen to some of it. And this is for research purposes. So let me get my disclaimer up. I think part of the thing is you have to like physically show the disclaimer. So how do you do? Oh, you do this, and then you drag this, and then you say copyright disclaimer. Yeah, here we go. So then I'll share my screen with you. You guys bear with me, Curvies. I hope, I didn't even do any house cleaning today. On your way in, Curvies, if you could smash my buttons, it really helps the algorithm. Smash that like button, smash the subscribe button on your way in or whenever you get here in the replay, whenever it is. Just smash my buttons. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit the bell so you can become part of this beautiful curvy community that we're growing over here on these YouTube streets. All right? So thanks for being here. And like I said, we will be listening to parts of the Howie Mandell interview. This copyright disclaimer does say, under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Yes, thank you, Corey. Thank you. Smash the buttons, people. All right, all right. Okay, now let me see. Can I just play it from here too? Let's see, can I? Goes 1, 2, 3. Because I had it in my phone, but I'm like, wait, my devices are acting. Let me try to just keep it all on one. Ooh, and this battery is almost. Okay, so here it is. Sorry about that. Okay, so can you guys hear that? Could you hear that? When I played that, when she said this is the first time you've been on? Can you hear that? Okay, you do. Right. Okay. Okay, let me figure it out. You hear that now? You hear that now? Okay, if you guys can't hear that, then no, don't worry, don't worry. I do have it on my phone, ready to go. So I guess that's what we'll stick with is the phone.
So this is the first time you've been on until like I've seen Sheena, I've seen Lala, I've seen Jax, I've seen Kristen
Can
come
you hear
on
it now?
every single podcast and give their opinion. Is there anything else now that you're here and you're talking that you want to clear up that was misinformation? Oh, like roll? Like starting roll?
I think it started.
Right on. Thanks, Corey.
This is Howie Mandell does stuff. I'm Howie Mandell.
I'm Jacqueline Schultz's daughter.
This is the first time Jackie just told me that this is
Okay, so you
this man
guys,
sitting beside me.
I
my daughter.
am going to add the description, the link for this. This is from Howie Mandell Does Stuff, and this is a Tom Sandoval interview. It's his podcast, and so we will be listening to parts of this for research purposes. And I put in the description, I really, we had done a red flags live about this before. And so I really did want to revisit and research just from hearing his side of the story, like what was their communication style, research that, and research like the relationship. Was there any red flags that were obvious just from now that we're hearing at least his side of the story? You know what I mean? And you'll be surprised to find out that yes, there were red flags. So this is Tom Sandoval, Howie Mandell, and Howie's co-host is his daughter. And remember when he did that series, Bobby, it was for his kids, remember? So now she's grown up and a co-host on his podcast. Let's take a listen.
He's a huge fan. Watches everything.
I wanted to go to her house and see the swans. So I was like, we're going to do her podcast.
What's going on?
Thing about you and your clubs and things like that. And then I have met you kind of socially after on other business. You know, we were trying to do business together.
No, it was Strix.
Yeah.
The men's cosmetic line.
Yeah. Are you doing that?
Yeah, it's going great. We're in Target nationwide and CVS nationwide.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. So that is, for those that don't know, it's a men's makeup line.
Cosmetics, yeah.
Or
Everything, eye rollers. I mean, we don't like to call it makeup just because, you know how delicate men's masculinity can be when they hear the word makeup.
Why do you have to have men's makeup? Why can't you just have like makeup that people use?
Well, this one is.
She's so woke.
No, you're right. You're right.
She is so woke. This
You're
is not men's makeup. This is identified as everyone's makeup.
It can be used by everyone, but it's developed. The company was developed from the ground up for men. So most,
So obviously Tom has some kind of makeup line that he's discussing. I didn't know. He did not highlight that on the show. But
makeup is actually designed for more like oilier skin, like more of like to match the pH of like men's skin more so than women's.
Yeah, because of my pH is bigger than your pH.
Just like that.
Don't have to brag, Dad.
Does the size of your pH matter? And then I also am aware, because Jason, who you work with and you're friends with, is also the drummer
And the band manager of Tom Sandoval, the most extra. Yeah.
Yes. And
Awesome.
this is already.
So we will.
The makeup is
He
actually
likes to
designed
dress
for
and
more,
drag.
like,
Yeah, he
oilier
does.
Skin, like
He's
more of,
very open. Let's fast
Explain
forward.
it because I heard on another podcast in friends terms. Have you heard that analogy? Like what's going on?
I don't friends,
now
so
in your
this
life,
is for the
but they
people
put
who
it in
friends.
Friends terminology with the show Friends.
No, I've never.
Well, you haven't heard that? I haven't heard that either.
And Mom totally understands now. It's as if, it's as if Chandler.
Let him say what's going
Well,
on.
but it's not going to work for you, so
okay.
you're going to have to explain it to my dad. It's not
Yeah.
because you don't understand Friends, but just so that you know what was being said. It's as if Chandler cheated on Monica with Rachel, and then Joey may have known but didn't say anything.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I heard.
Friends terms. Okay, all right,
Yeah.
I get it now.
So then my mom understood. He still doesn't get it. So I
Well,
think
here's what I
you
don't
should
get.
explain.
Here's what I don't get. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Does anybody get that? I don't get it.
In reading what I've read, I don't understand this whole plot. I say like almost, so what? Is that a bad thing to say?
You're gonna get in so much trouble for saying that.
Well, here's what I'm gonna say. And I want to hear from you. And I want you to take the opportunity, and I wanted you to be here because my interactions with you, I like you. And my interactions with the debaters, your friends, they're like family to me. So here is my take on what I've heard. Okay, my take on what I've heard is you're on a reality show. A lot of people are on the reality show. I don't. You're not married, right?
No.
So you're not married, and in fact, I got schooled the other night because your buddy, your partner, your business partner, your friend, who also shares a name with you,
Tom, yeah. Schwartz.
right? Well, he doesn't. The Schwartz is not shared.
No.
Just
Sandoval,
Tom.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jews don't share. So
Is he Jewish?
No, he's not Jewish.
Yeah.
Schwartz.
Yeah, he's not Jewish.
He's not Jewish.
Well, then that's the scandal. That's what we should be talking about. How can a Schwartz not be a Jew? How is that even possible?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Wow, that's what the scandal is. That's cultural.
Appropriation.
Yes.
Well, I married a Schultz that is
No,
Catholic.
but Schultz doesn't have to be Jewish. I watched Hogan's Heroes growing up,
Okay.
and Schultz was not Jewish.
Okay.
Okay, but
Anyways.
Schwartz not being a Jew? That's a horrible. We have breaking news right here. Anyway, the point is, I saw him on that Andy Cohen show.
Yeah.
How do you feel about what he said?
Did you watch?
Yeah. I did not watch it. I sort of heard what he said, and you know, I think I can't be mad at what he said. I mean, there were a lot of accuracies to things that he said. You know, this whole situation has been just. I mean, obviously, I've never experienced anything like it in my life. It's just.
Okay, so that was the butter up. He's getting ready to really get
into.
into his portion of it.
Oh, it's like
You don't have to brag, Dad. Explain it because I heard on another podcast.
Wait, sorry.
To feel like things for us. And I started
Okay,
thinking,
so here we go. He's getting into it now, people. Let me know if you can't hear this, okay?
like, just, you know, it's normal. Like, you know, her manager had a and everything, you know. But it just
Which I watched Hogan's Heroes growing,
Okay, there we are. Sorry.
and Schultz was not Jewish.
Okay.
Okay, but
Anyways.
Schwartz.
Oh, no.
Not being a
Sorry, I
Jew.
don't want to hear that part again.
Which I,
can't. Well, obviously, we built a business, and you know, we got a house together and everything. We're a brand. What he said, and you know, I think I can't be mad at what he said. I mean, there were a lot of accuracies and things that he said. You know, this whole situation has been just. I mean, obviously, I've never experienced anything like it in my life. It's just crazy how big this story has gotten for who I am. Like, you know, I'm not like a royal family. You know, I'm on a reality show. I mean, like, if Snooki has an affair with, like, you know, whoever, it's like, is that going to be like national news? Like,
that's my question.
you know, I've just finally, I mean, it's been like almost 6 weeks now since this all went down. I'm finally like getting time to start to reflect on the situation, because I never thought I would get myself in a situation like this. Never dreamed it, ever. I mean, I worked too hard for my image, for my businesses, like for my integrity and everything, you know. But it just happened. And I mean, I you know, I guess we get back to like, you know, how everything's sort of blown up and whatnot. But I can just tell you that, you know, it's no.
If you guys could see him, would look kind of, he looks in the way, because you can see this video, and to me he looks like he's telling the truth. He doesn't look like he's lying about it. I feel like he's so far starting really good.
You know, Arianna and I have, you know, I love Arianna. I still love Arianna and I care about her very much so. But we prefer to talk through this. I understand, like, you're on hold for like a big job too, like, and but like the worst time ever, because, you know, I was in a place yearning for like a connection, and Raquel and I had become, you know, slowly, and you know, especially after James broke up, like really good friends, like finding each other for some like strength, for some like, you know, like, to my second time. You know what I mean? Like I had no mojo, no anymore. And I'm just putting that out there. I don't know, whatever. But what I'm saying is that was what I was felt like reduced to in a sense. And I'm not saying like that's just her fault or whatever. We just didn't have the intimacy.
And that happens in a lot of relationships. Yeah. But to answer Jackie's question, because that's a little bit I know about it, is that Tom said last night that. So you, and I think that it's incredibly commendable that you are sharing this even publicly, and not only for you, and not only for whatever the situation is, but I think, I don't know how much you know about me, but my soapbox is mental health, you know, and I think that we have to remove the stigma about saying.
Good night, Evangelist Marie, conversations and inspiration. If you have a channel, drop your link, darling. Thanks for popping through.
Yes. This is your experience. Are you sharing with her that you are trying to take your relationship in a different direction or end it?
I definitely started going away. And I don't want to say anything about Arianna. She look, I have my things. Don't get me wrong. I definitely have my things. But it's like, it's not an excuse. What I did was completely wrong and totally fucked up. And I. So this is I'm just trying to give you guys like reasoning behind context exactly.
All right. Today's podcast is sponsored.
Before.
Who is Sheena?
Sheena? Don't worry about it.
I'll get to it.
But the question was, up until this time where sparks flew, you know, and you were just friends, was there times where you sat down, yes, and said, Kenny.
So as like Raquel and I became really good friends, like, and you know, she's single and Schwartz is single. Like, I was like, I thought she was so awesome. Like getting to know her, like she's so kind, she's like smart, she's witty, she's fun, she's hot, she's down for it. Yeah, she's beautiful. And I was like, I remember I was sitting there and I was like, Schwartz, dude, like even before we started filming, I was like, dude, what do you think of Raquel, dude? She's freaking awesome. He's like, yeah, she's all right. I was like, dude, you're an idiot. Like, she's fucking amazing. Like, come on, dude. Like, and I kept trying to push like Schwartz and her to like.
Were you pushing Schwartz and her together to like put up a boundary for you?
No. I
don't mean to like hide you. I mean like so that you would, if she was with Schwartz, then
you would blocking yourself.
Yeah, were you cock blocking yourself?
No. In my opinion, I was like, hey, like, if Schwartz and her start dating, then like we can all like hang out even more. You know what I'm saying? Like, we became really good friends, and I guess like Schwartz was just like, nah, I'm not into it. And I'm like, dude, okay, whatever. You're dumb. Like, because obviously I thought very highly of her. And, you know, when we finally, like, we were hanging out and just talking, like, we hung out like 2 nights or whatever, like one night, and then a couple nights later we hung out again. And like, we literally talked till like the sun came up the first night with like my friend Brett. It was like the guy, like if you watch the show, it was the guy's night at the Mondrian. And then it was like, see you next Tuesday or whatever. And then we're back at my house and just like talking, I'm locked out of my house. And we just like, yes, like we would, it was like magnetic, like we were talking, moving like closer, like just like as we were talking, like as time went on, it's like we just start talking closer and closer, and then all of a sudden it's just like we're like kissing, and it's like I felt something that I hadn't felt in so long, like emotionally.
Sorry, decline. But hold on, that was before Sheena's wedding though, right? So were you upset then? Because at Sheena's wedding, Tom then did make a move and they did kiss. So you hooked up before.
Who is Sheena?
Sheena? Don't worry about it.
I'll get to it.
But the question was.
Okay, you guys. So far, thanks for tuning in to LRGA Curves today. Smash the buttons on your way in if you haven't already. DT, it was so fun with you earlier. We were singing a happy birthday to DT on his live, you guys. Make sure you go over and follow DT on Instagram. Fantastic human being. Love DT. Hey, fellow Curvies, hope all is well. And please make sure to hit that like, fellow Curvies. Thank you. That's right. You know I'm over here. You know that Vanderpump Rules is one of my guilty pleasures. Well, Tom Sandoval finally did an interview, you guys, with Howie Mandell. And yes, the Vanderpump hoe tree is alive and well, yes. And the current Vanderpump hoe, Tom Sandoval, is giving his side of the story on Howie Mandell's podcast. And we're listening to it and we're researching for reasons like to see what red flags there were in the relationship, what kind of communication style like happened, like what do we need to look at, right? D. Marie is in the house. That's what I'm talking about. Thanks for coming through. Thanks for coming through. Shay B is in the house. Oh my gosh, you guys are so sweet. I appreciate it. Let's get back to Tom. Now, Tom just revealed the first time they hooked up was when she went to the men's party, the divorce party. I'm pretty, because they said the guys' night, right? Up on the rooftop. And remember, Raquel left from that place and came to the, let's listen again. Let me see. Just a second, y'all. Oh yeah, say hey everybody. Hey. It's good, DT. It's good. Oh yeah, definitely. That's why they call them Vanderpump hoes. Yes. Okay, it doesn't like when I stop it and have the speed buffer on.
Like I was like, I thought she was so awesome. Like getting to know her, like she's so kind, she's like smart, she's witty, she's fun, she's she's hot, she's down for it. Yeah, she's beautiful. And I was like, is that wrong? I remember I was sitting there and I was like, Schwartz, dude, like even before we started filming, I was like, dude, what do you think of Raquel, dude? She's freaking awesome. He's like, yeah, she's all right. I was like, dude, you're an idiot. Like, she's fucking amazing. Like, come on, dude. Like, and I kept trying to push like Schwartz and her to like.
Were you pushing Schwartz and her together to like?
Yeah, that's something Corey would say.
Boundary for you?
No.
I don't mean to like hide you. I mean like so that you would, if she was with Schwartz, then
you
would
blocking yourself.
Yeah, were you cock blocking yourself?
No. In my opinion, I was like, hey, like, if Schwartz and her start dating, then like we can all like hang out even more. You know what I'm saying? Like, we became really good friends, and I guess like Schwartz was just like, nah, I'm not into it. And I'm like, dude, okay, whatever. You're dumb. Like, because obviously I thought very highly of her, and you know, when we finally
yes, that part, DT.
Talking like we had hung out like 2 nights or whatever, like one night, and then like a couple nights later we hung out again, and like we literally talked till like the sun came up the first night with like my friend Brett. It was like the guy, like if you watch the show, it was the guys' night at the Mondrian, and then it was like see you next Tuesday or whatever, and then we're back at my house, and she's like.
So that is it. Okay, so remember, anybody that's watching the show, remember that awkward scene when Raquel came in so happy to the club after hanging out with the people the night before. Okay, so Raquel left Lala and the Mean Girls when they had went to the place where the girls show their boobies for no beads. And then, because remember, Katie went on that girls trip to Lake Havasu. And then they were evil to Raquel. Raquel left that party and ended up showing up at the guys' night out. But I thought was that the Metreon or the Glass Deck? Did they meet up a different time? I'm going to have to go back and watch. Darn, the Metreon. So did the guys go out before the divorce party night? Because if they had hooked up before even the divorce party night, then this is really weird. Why was he trying to force them to get together so much? Oh, wow. Okay. Wow, this just made it even more crazy. So she came back from the party. It was guys' night out at the Metreon. Her and Charlie, I believe, that night crashed that party. Sheena was there. Um, she did sit next to Tom that night, but I guess they went back somewhere. And the next scene was Raquel walking into Vanderpump Rules, where James was there for See You Next Tuesday. And she said, yeah, James, Tom Sandoval said that you could come to his house if you want to come to Tom Sandoval's house. He's having a pool party. And Tom Sandoval said you could come. And I was like, that is so strange. Because, I'm from my house. And at my house, people don't say your whole name unless they mad at you or like you. So I was like, she didn't sound like she was mad at him, her and her Tom Sandoval. Yeah, Tom Sandoval said, I was talking to Tom Sandoval. And Tom Sandoval said you could come to his house. And she was like playing with her little necklace and everything. So I don't know if that was the exact night that they hooked up based off of what he's saying. Let's keep on listening because it was before the wedding. So that pool party invite was right before the wedding. Because remember, at the pool party, that would explain why Tom was like, I can't unsee all the times you were a bully to her for no fucking reason, la. She's the sweetest person, and you've just been such a bully to her. And that's why Raquel was standing there with her hand on her hip. When you dip, I slip, you slip. Because Tom and her had already made out by that part. So she was feeling herself walking around that house in freaking dental floss. But like I'm saying, also based on what Tom is saying, him and Arianna weren't intimate. Him and Arianna weren't connecting. They had been having conversations about their distance and stuff like that. After the kiss with Raquel, he wants them to go to counseling. Let's keep listening.
Talking, I'm locked out of my house, and we just we kissed, it was like magnetic, like we were talking, moving like closer, like just like as we were talking, like as time went on, it's like we would just start talking closer and closer, and then all of a sudden it's just like we're like kissing, and it's like I felt something that I hadn't felt in so long, like emotionally.
Sorry, decline. But hold on, that was before Sheena's wedding though, right? So were you upset then? Because at Sheena's wedding, Tom then did make a move and they did kiss. So you hooked up before.
Who is Sheena?
Sheena? Don't worry about it.
I don't know.
I'll get to it.
But the question was, up until this time where sparks flew, and you were just friends, was there times where you sat down?
Yes.
And said, I don't know that this is working, or
I got to a point, I think it was like a year prior, that I kind of drew a line, because Arianna had look, she doesn't like when you do something wrong and you apologize. She thinks it means nothing, because if you do it again, then it's like you're not even really sorry.
I agree with that.
I say that to my husband all the time.
If you do it again.
Well, I'm saying
apologies mean nothing. She wants action, right?
Yeah, and I would acknowledge her feelings and respect them in the sense. So I'd be like, okay, I know that bothers you. I'm sorry that bothers you. I didn't mean to offend you by coming home a little later tonight or whatever.
Yeah.
It's more like that. Like I'm sorry for you staying up and all that shit. Like I didn't mean anything personal. It's not malicious or anything. Arianna would just never apologize, ever. Like literally you can count on and she has a very...
So based on our research so far, if he's feeling neglected, you okay? Just a second. The 10-year-old. You got it? Yeah. Okay. So, and if he is neglected, he's making a lot of excuses, you guys. This sounds like classic. They didn't communicate. They weren't being honest with each other. I don't think about where they were, because this sounds like it could have been a whole entire talk before he decided to kiss Raquel.
It's one of her biggest strengths. She, doesn't give up in any kind of argument. And we got to a certain point where I felt like we just weren't. She was just annoyed with me, and
so here's what I'm getting.
I can be annoying, but just like annoyed with me. So
here's what I'm getting. What I'm getting is you were in this long-term relationship.
Yes.
With this woman. The relationship, and this happens to a lot of people and happens to everybody, and through no fault of either of you, you're growing apart.
Yeah, the 10-year-old
one person has
was banging his chair.
Person, and there's no satisfaction. What I'm asking though is, knowing that you each know it internally, did you ever sit down and say, this isn't working? Because I watched Schwartz last, on the Andy Cohen show. Yeah. And he said that, you told him that you were trying a few times to end it.
Yeah. So to sort of, yes, I had actually. And so after Raquel and I, kissed, and I felt this way or whatever, I got my ass into therapy immediately to try to figure out what the hell I'm going to do. Because the feelings were something very, very strong. And those feelings that I had, started to kind of take over in a sense, logic, all that shit went out the window. Because I wasn't experienced that. I hadn't experienced that. And so, you stop, and especially when you're in a situation where you're not happy in your life, and there's work's negative, and I was neglecting my friends, even though we weren't physical, really that often or whatever, we still would FaceTime and whatnot, talk all the time, and all I could focus on was that. He said yesterday, he was I felt like Raquel, which it kind of became that way, later on, Raquel almost was like a drug to Tom, and it was our relationship, our connection was healthy, but the environment that it created, the lying, whatever sneaking around, was very unhealthy.
I love you, Corey. Thanks for coming through.
But it's time was always fleeting. Every time we were around each other, it felt like it could be the last time we see each other. And it just made it made us both obsessive over trying to see each other and stuff. But yes, to answer your question, when that went down in Cancun, Schwartz didn't know about that. And what that was all about in that situation is that Schwartz and Raquel had not done anything, but it had been crucified like they were in a full-blown relationship by Katie and Lala. Bullied, crucified. Katie had Christina, brought in Christina Kelly, brought in her mom, all this stuff.
Don't worry, Dad.
It just...
He doesn't know any of these names. He's looking at me what is going on? I get it. Keep going.
And then they're sitting there at Tina's wedding at the white party, and you got these 3 girls up top wearing all black, looking over everybody, being all judgy, and they're just you know what? Fuck this. If you're gonna treat us like we've been in a relationship, you know what I mean? It was more of a rebellious thing.
You weren't upset at that point though, because you knew you had a magnetic connection with Raquel, and then you see her go and kiss your friend.
Well, Schwartz kissed her.
But you had kissed her previously, you said.
Yes.
So seeing that Schwartz and her kiss, that didn't upset you at all?
I mean, I was a little jealous, a little bit, but I was not questioning our connection, and I was more proud of them for like kind of like saying fuck you.
Is that why you decided to tell Schwartz then in August, because you saw that they had kissed?
No.
Sorry, my dad is so lost right now.
when we got back, Schwartz was always like, I asked him if he was like, he said he had no intention of like, you know, he kind of was like, dude, and I'm like, all right, he's like, no, I just literally wanted to just have fun and like it meant nothing.
So
like,
I'm gonna recap as
so I told him
Howie with the recap.
as the ignorant person here, because I'm just discerning it for myself. Okay, here's a young, talented man who has a business, who is on a show, who happens to be suffering with a life experience, turning 40, depressed, unaware of where his life and his business is leading, in a relationship that has stalled. Everything kind of feels like malaise. He's just looking for something. He happens to be surrounded by people who, you know, I think even though you're on a reality show, it's a very closed world. It really is. There's only certain people around. So there's this young lady, Raquel, who just happens to be there and happens to be a very wonderful person and a friend that you can talk to. And when you feel very vulnerable, you need that outlet. And they started talking, and then, you know, there's chemistry. Sparks fly. They kiss. And in that moment, when you are so vulnerable, even just a kiss is like taking crack for the first time. You know what I mean? It creates a high. It's like a respite from this, you know, darkness that is your life. And you go, oh my God, I don't understand these feelings. You start talking to your therapist. You don't really fully act on that.
Trying to do that. You tried to.
So what do you guys think so far of his freaking excuses? Wonderful person. Yes, she is a wonderful person who just happened to be at the right place at the right time. And she was on a FU and he was proud of it. But why was, okay. So he does also go on to say that they're close friends. Listen, okay, you're going to have to finish this.
We are having an argument. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, but that's what I would think. Like, yes, it happened. Yes, hindsight's 20/20. But I would think now, looking back, the right time to get out would be you were gonna get backlash anyway, just because she was your girlfriend's friend. She was your friend's ex-fiance. You're gonna get backlash anyways, right?
Yeah.
But like getting out of it for him, from what I
it is a monumental task.
That's what I'm saying. It's not even a wife. It's not even a girlfriend. It's a girlfriend. It's a partner. It's a brand. You're in business together. You're on a reality show together, and you live in the same house. Yeah. That you both are you partners in the house?
Yes.
Are you still in the house?
Yeah. It's actually been really pretty calm lately. It was a little.
You both live together still?
Well, I mean, Howie, I can't. To be totally honest, like I can't afford to. I don't have a lot of friends I can stay with right now. A, and B, like
Kimmy. You want to babysit?
I can't be in Thousand Oaks right now.
So if Kimmy lived in Encino, you would live there. Okay.
Yeah, I also, you know, with the house and stuff, I kind of run the house, like in a sense of like, I don't mean like I run it, but like I handle the gardening, the house.
Yeah, I don't think he has any regret either, Shay Bean.
Like stocks.
It sounds like he was 1 foot out of the relationship with Arianna. Then this happened, and
she's in the house. We're in far. I mean, dude, this is a big house.
It happened,
right? It's like almost a $3 million house. We're both we text. We have a go between text like when we're coming and going. All I do is I go into my room, and then you know she's in her room, she's downstairs, and then like I'll go into the gym and I'll be in the gym, and then when I'm done with the gym, I go back to my room, and then I'll go somewhere else. Sometimes I stay away, but I always let them know. I've gone out of town a couple times, but yeah, it's like it's been okay. Like, we're not, initially it wasn't great, but and I had to stay away, but I would understand if we had kids, so like the kids would see like mommy and daddy like being weird, but like we don't.
You have a pet?
We do. We have a cute cat.
Oh, the triangle will continue to hold us.
You have a middle bit, to tell each other when you're gonna like.
That's what she wanted. Like, he'll be like, yeah, we'll text and be like, Arianna wants to try to use the gym at 6, and I'm like, okay, great.
So are you making a plan now? Is there a plan?
Future plan.
Yeah.
Is the house listed?
The house is not listed yet.
Is that the plan?
Yeah. We're just, we both have she's really busy right now. She's obviously blowing up, which is great. I'm really happy to see that. And so she's busy doing things. I've been busy as well, trying to get things together. So yeah,
you are busy. You're on tour, and you're doing other things. I think
Howie loves Tom, you guys. Howie loves Tom.
I find it crazy unfair how big this has gotten. No?
Yeah, no, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Because I'm into Bravo, like, then in my little world, when I watch you guys, it's a big deal. I'm surprised
But
that
on
it's
Bravo,
broken the bubble of Bravo.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's like...
Hasn't there been things on Bravo and other shows, on the Housewives and things like that have been more... Like, they've never been this big, but I think
there's been way worse things.
Way worse.
I think you'll be fine if Michael Vick could go back to playing football.
Oh, that's not a good comparison. She's...
If he could, like, it's not as bad as that. So
I think you're wrong.
I didn't compare it. You guys are okay. Whatever.
I get it.
I'm just saying that it'll blow over because there's worse things that have blown over.
And I think the fact that people are listening to you today, and I think that's the key. I think that you need, and I would imagine it's really scary.
Let's talk through this. Like, I understand. Like, we were on hold for like a big job too. Like.
Okay, here's where he's gonna say that he told Arianna he wanted to break up finally.
We both have she's really busy right now. She's obviously blowing up, which is great. I'm really happy to see that. And so she's busy doing things.
You guys smash those buttons.
I've been busy as well, trying to get things together. So yeah.
You are busy. You're on tour. And you're doing other things. I think you're gonna. Do you find? I find it crazy unfair how big this has gotten. No?
Yeah, no, maybe. I mean,
I find it, that's what I was saying too. Like, I think that the amount of flack him and Raquel specifically have got on a show that is designed around everybody swapping all the bodily fluids they can. I just thought it was weird. I'm like, what is going on that they want this so highlighted of everybody? It's not even that far-fetched to me. I mean, anybody that looks at the show can see that Arianna and Tom liked each other, but they were never like sexy time like each other. You know what I mean? Not to me anyway. Like, I think him and Kristen used to do a lot more kissing and arguing than Arianna and him. Anyway, so far I feel like our research is going pretty good, because we get to hear all of the excuses of a narcissist. You guys, I'm starting to think Tom might just be an old-fashioned narcissist full of BS, doing what he wanted to make himself feel better.
We're really good friends. We're not putting any label on it. We're also just kind of taking like a break.
Good friends.
Yeah.
With benefits, right?
Not right
there's
now.
A fire. Okay.
Not right now.
Okay. I'm just saying. But so the point is that a bad thing to say? It's not.
Yes, a beard and a closeted gay. Exactly.
No, I'm not comparing it to Michael Vick.
Yes, you
I'm saying that if he, like, it's not as bad as that. So
here, I'm going to turn this down because she keeps comparing. I don't know why her go-to comparisons are black men that have violence on. I'm just like, shut up, lady.
I think that you need, and I would imagine it's really scary, but I think you're articulate enough. I'm telling you this as somebody who's sitting here and listening to you.
Yeah, Howie got a lot of flack earlier today because of this interview, and he comes off as a Tom sympathizer. And I was coming off as a Tom sympathizer too. I mean, I'm not condoning what he did. I just was like, ladies, don't let no other woman in your house if you're not giving it up to your man. Like, you're setting yourself up that way. Don't have bikini clad pool parties if you haven't broke your man off proper before the people get there. Like, what are you doing? And then remember when Raquel walks into the pool party, she's like, oh, you're so gorgeous to Raquel. Arianna said that to Raquel. Oh, you're so gorgeous. Awkward. She's like, yeah, I know. I just smashed your man.
Are putting upon you and even others in social media, it's really hard.
Yeah, Shay B knows what I'm talking about.
No, go ahead.
It's been really tough to see, like, obviously, this situation, there's only 3 people involved in it. Me, Arianna, and Raquel. That's it. And there's just really, and mainly just Arianna and I, I mean, there's two things that happen here: the ending of a relationship and the affair. And I can tell you right now, by far the most painful thing for Arianna, I know her and I know myself because was in this is the ending of the relationship. And that's also the most painful thing for our friends. We were referred to as mom and dad. Like,
that's very insightful.
Like, people stayed at our house and like we took care of our friends, I take care of my friends. Like, and like people, like, I don't think I can be faithful in a relationship with you right now. I was saying all these things. I hadn't told her about Raquel yet. But I did. I was like, she's like, if you break up with me,
that part,
effectively be ending my life. And I was like,
so did you guys hear what Tom said? Tom said he finally tried to break up with Raquel. No, I'm sorry. Tom tried to break up with Arianna. As it turns out, 2 weeks before she looked in his phone and found that stuff. And the reason I brought that up is because DT's comment is very on point. She knows Tom's whole history because she was a hoe with Tom when he was still with Kristen, you guys. They made out the same way that he's saying, oh, we just made out. He had said that all him and Arianna did before Kristen found out was make out. And Kristen was like, no, you didn't. I know you guys smashed. I know you guys smashed. I know you guys smashed. And Tom was like, you don't know that. And Arianna just sat there all quiet. Talk to your man. Talk to him, honey. Remember? So she knows his history because she's part of the history, you guys. I would have, look, not only would I have been checking phones, I would have been not having no other girls around my man if I'm not doing what girls do with their men. It's ridiculous. She set herself up all the way around. So he's saying now that he finally broke up with her.
And so I was like, well, talk, obviously she was very upset. I mean, she freaking punched me and all this shit.
Oh, wait, let me go back a little more.
But and we'll stay at our house and like we took care of our friends,
He's gonna tell it.
Friends, like, and like people are grouping the breakup and the affair.
Yes, the cleanup woman or the cleanup man. Well, do a good job cleaning up if you can.
The breakup was an inevitable thing. I don't know if it would have quite happened.
If I asked Arianna if she was sitting here today, would she have say when? I do understand a couple of things. She found like her moment where she found some stuff on your phone, right?
Yes.
Okay. before she found
Yes.
the stuff on your phone, she would have considered you guys still in a relationship, and maybe a relationship that would have been ended, right? Because she was going in a different direction than you.
I had already broken up with her 2 weeks earlier, and I told her, I said, listen, we don't have to post anything on social media. Like, let's talk through this. Like, I understand, like, we were on hold for, like, a big job, too. Like, and to, like for, you know,
Exactly,
mixology, like,
GT.
together. And so it's like, we can, like, keep this, like, between us. Like, we always have kept stuff between us, and figure out a way to navigate this that, like, helps us both out, makes it easier. And so I was like, we'll talk, you know, obviously she was very upset. I mean, she freaking punched me and all this shit. And then like, you know, but after she calmed down, we started talking. And then a couple days later, I sit down to talk with her again. And she's like, I'm like not letting you leave me. You're going to have to force me out of this relationship. And I was like,
what? Arianna.
I was even like, I don't think I could be faithful in a relationship right now. I like saying all these things I hadn't told her about Raquel yet. But I, you know, I did. I was like, she's like, if you break up with me, you will effectively be ending my life. And I was like, I didn't, and I just was like, I didn't know what to do. She was just completely in denial and not accepting it. And so 2 weeks later, I mean, I went to Miami the following weekend. Didn't even tell her where I was going. Went to a food and wine festival. Like, she could have came. I didn't invite her. Instead, I invited like Jason. And like, it's just us and a bunch of guys. And she didn't even know when I was coming back. Didn't call me, didn't talk to me the entire time. Like, that's not somebody who's in a relationship. You can't go with your boys to Miami and not check in with your girl. Like, let's be real. It's because we weren't in a relationship. So I did tell her I was landing. But then
these hoes ain't loyal.
You know, 2 in the morning, like that night. Like, and she didn't say anything at all. And the night in question, I mean, she knew, like, we weren't kissing or nothing like that. Nothing was happening. Like, and we were at TomTom for this event, and we've never been PDA unless it's like for a photo or for press or whatever. She, like, in front of all these fans, she like grabs me and knows that I'm not gonna push her away in front of people, and she kisses me, like, and then, you know, and then I perform, my phone falls out of the pocket, she sees it, and like, obviously, you know, it's the most probably upset and angry I've ever seen her. But I think she went through my phone just to see if like I'd done anything had happened with somebody in like Miami, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Too late.
Like, we were broken up. She knew we were broken up. Like, we didn't tell anybody, but she knew. And she was trying to like convince me not to do that, like not to be broken up or like get back together. But that was not the case. And I was not giving. She asked me that day as we were leaving about like she talked about fertilizing eggs, which I never did. And she was like, so what do you think about getting a sperm check to fertilize my eggs? And I'm like, what? I'm like, we're broken up. Like, what? I was like, we'll talk about this later. I gotta go to my show, whatever. Like, it just was like fully in denial.
Fully.
And it scared me. It really scared me. That's why I didn't, like, you say, like, why didn't you just break up with her then? It's because of the threat of self-sabotaging. And you know how much that hurts me? Because, like, she's been on the show for 9 years, building all of this. We built all this together, and you're just gonna throw that away. Also, you haven't had to like deal with any real drama on the show for years. So now shit hits the fan, like, with you, and like then you quit the show. Like, I'm like, that's not fair. I even said that to her in therapy. I was like, that's not fair for you to quit the show. Tom and Katie went through a divorce, you know, like James and Raquel went through a breakup on the reunion. But like, we break up and you're just like, no, I quit. Like, I'm like, that's fucked up. That's not fair to everybody else. And that's one of the reasons why I brought up our issues on camera. I called our showrunner, Jeremiah. to hold myself accountable, because I was like, dude, this is not fair. I see all these people going through things. All these people are putting themselves out there, and we're not. And it's not fair. You know what I mean? It's not fair. So I called him. And so that's why, like, you know, that's why it started to come to light on the show.
Did you, any of the communications that you had with Arianna about breaking up or saying that it's not, did you do that on text?
No,
Never.
I would never text things like that. That's crazy.
So why do you think then that this is such a bigger deal?
Yeah,
Because
I think it's way bigger than, I don't know. I'm feeling like Scandoval was like, I mean, Russia was talking with China about getting rid of the dollar during the last 6 weeks. So I'm trying to think, what was the dangle on this story? How much influence does the Bravo sphere have that it kept so many people preoccupied? It trickled up all the way to national news on CNN. Isn't that interesting, you guys? When you really think about, like, why did this story blow up so big when DT hit the nail on the head? He hasn't watched the show in years and can still see the same dynamics happening. The same, Tom Sandoval, he just said that they were on the show for 9 years. Everybody's just hooking up, doing what they do. His best friend, Tom Schwartz, was constantly making out, even though he was completely married to Katie. He would always have makeout sessions with other people. You know what I mean? This research has proven to me, because that's pretty much the part I wanted to know. Now, only thing he's going to keep saying is a lot more likes. And then him and Howie Mandell talk about, you know, like he can change. He stopped drinking. He hasn't had a drink for some time now. It's interesting that the liquor is the devil's juice on this show. It'll make your panties drop, because Lala was going around giving BJs for Range Rovers, remember, when she was drinking, and then smashing James when Raquel wasn't looking when she was drinking. And now we have Tom, who is mixologist extraordinaire. And this season, I did notice he was drinking a lot. I was like, I wonder, is he trying to hide something? Yeah, I was trying to hide how miserable he was in his relationship. Oh my goodness, you guys. Oh my goodness. But yes, the same dynamics are happening. I'm kind of cheating. I just finished a glass of wine. It's liquid. You didn't have to chew. I feel like fasting is more of a chewing thing. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't have to chew it. I didn't break my fast. So like if I have coffee in the morning during my intermittent fast time, I'm like, oh, I didn't have to eat it. You know what I mean? I didn't have to chew it. But yeah, so it's just kind of cheating, Shady. Literally, the storyline of Vanderpump Hoes in the worlds of Kaya, marriage, whoredom, and a bitch crying to write a song. Exactly. And even the only one still married, which is Jax, is the original whore. And now he's seen all the errors of his ways. He's probably trying to find out how can he get in touch with Arianna, because he used to have a crush on her. Yep, I'm sure they're partaking in other things. Yes, I agree, right? Yep, yeah, liquid doesn't count. But so also Tom is going to then shave off his mustache, you guys. I kind of feel like the mustache might have made him do it. Everybody was questioning why the hell he had that mustache this year when the season started. We were like, Freddie Mercury? Oh, Tom, it's you. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. So he shaved his mustache, and he actually let let Howie Mandell shave his mustache live on the podcast. It was hilarious, but the clippers didn't work great and the battery was dying. So Tom ended up cutting it off himself and finishing it up. But the mustache is gone, you guys. And he said him and Raquel are taking it slow and they will not be pursuing a relationship at this time. He said that Tom Schwartz did not know until after he kissed her at the wedding in last week's episode. How do you look at Jax? Yes, he looks like burnt roast pig. He's not hot. He's not hot.
In life, and I'll tell you this is a much older person than you. You find out who your friends are now with when shit happens, not when things are great. When things are great, there's a lot of people that'll hang out with you and you'll have fun with and you'll work with and you'll play with and you go, these are my friends and this is my friend so and so. But when shit hits the fan, the people that are left, the people that are supporting you, the people that are there for you are your friends. The other people were just people that are in your life.
Leave it to Bobby.
I know that you condone all this hatred coming your way.
I don't either.
I didn't shower for days. In the same clothes
He was
for
very
days.
depressed.
Like my medication, like literally just like dodging paparazzi. I've been so defensive. It did at times turn me into a total asshole. And I feel bad about that because I was just like very defensive and not open. I'm fine.
So you guys, he feels like all of this turned him into an asshole. Isn't that funny? It's a little funny, you guys, that this is what turned him into an asshole, not him cheating on Arianna, not him not being real in his relationship and just being upfront. I mean, when you're in a relationship, you and the other person do know that you're not having as much sex as you used to, right? But just because you know doesn't mean that you don't communicate about it. Because chances are, if you're not communicating about it, then the other person could be like, oh, it's not even important to them. They don't care. Let me go do my thing, you know? And you might not want that other person to necessarily run off and go do their whole own thing without you. Maybe you're just having a dry spell. You know, sometimes your hormones can be out of whack, or you could be on some medication, or something mentally could be going on, or you could be, you know, depressed or just not feeling your sexy self, or there's a lot of things like, and when you take the time to be in a committed relationship, I feel like you should also take the time to communicate effectively, you know, at all times, especially, look, I'm going to tell you as a married woman, when marriage gets hard, you have to put in the work because marriage is hard work. When it gets hard, that's when you put in the work. So even if you're not married, if you're in a committed monogamous relationship, when it gets hard, don't shut down and numb yourself with more alcohol and go out for guys or girls nights. Not if that's not something that, you know what I mean? If your relationship is important to you, it may behoove you to just be like, hey, look, you know, we're sharing this house, we're sharing these bills, we're sharing our life. Why aren't we sharing each other? What's up? Can I get broke off? You know, and then if you do get broke off some good sex, then, you know, if it feels like it was mechanical or a chore or not good like it used to be, then you can talk about that too. And then also, but the main thing I'm seeing is talk. So listening to Howie Mandell's and God, the 15-year-old, the 10-year-old. I mean, it's technically time for bed. I'm not sure why they're in here. But I just feel like if what we can learn from Tom and Arianna is communicate, communicate, communicate. Don't let things pile on, because this season actually also opened up with Arianna acknowledging in that very first episode that her and Tom weren't in the same intimate place, that her and Tom hadn't really, like they had lost their spark, they had lost their connection. So to hear him now say in his interview that he was feeling the same way, they may have been able to fix this had they simply communicated before the introduction of another hole and got back on track. You know what I mean? But life happens. Life happens. And it can make it hard to walk away. Some people, life happens and it can make it easy to walk away. But it sounds like Arianna, I always felt like Arianna was like very independent. And I didn't really feel like she was like Stassi or Katie or Kristen. I didn't really feel like she was one of the witches of WeHo. And I liked Ariana's independent thinking, how she felt vulnerable about her depression and her body dysmorphia stuff that she would have. And I really appreciated that. And it's too bad that all that seemingly open communication that she gave us during those first years of our introduction to her, the reasons why we like her so much, is because she couldn't translate that to Tom. Isn't that interesting? And I kind of thought they were a cute relationship too. Like, my man doesn't dress up in dresses, but hey, Arianna would let him wear her wigs and they would go she would go still out with him if he was dressed as a woman, and she would just laugh at all his jokes. And I always thought they were more than that. You know what I mean? And so now to hear that, it was such a huge chasm in their relationship is really interesting, that Arianna, who seemingly was the strongest of all the girls on here, because of her vulnerability and willing to attack things straightforward. Like she's like, look, I have this going on with my body. My other boyfriends told me that things were not okay. Like she shared that. Remember, she used to share those deep things with us. So that's what we can do. Like she should have shared all that stuff with Tom. Maybe she was just doing it for a storyline that season, because she should have definitely been sharing that with Tom. Anything that was going to make them stay together, especially since she told him that if he left, her life may as well be over, or whatever she said, and forget the business, forget the reunion, forget everything. And so then he felt like kind of trapped, because he said he was scared about what she would do next, because she was threatening not to follow through with their commitments, Yep, he was already an asshole. That part. Being on a reality show doesn't help, but that's one reason why I love Dr. Heavenly from Married to Medicine on Bravo, is because she's one reality star who from jump has had a line that she won't cross with her family and her husband, because they're not up for dibs in this reality TV game. You know what I mean? And so she keeps her real personal relationships really tight and doesn't allow the reality show to reality show her relationships. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't help being on a reality show. Yep, preaching to the choir, communication. Yes, how are you doing? Thanks for coming through, James Michael Fraser. Right on. Yes. Arianna will come out wondering why she was ever with him. Yeah, she'll look back on this and be like, how did I ever? How did she ever? But she had already, like, I feel like she tried to break up with him actually earlier when she was like, I'm never going to marry you. We're never going to get married. Because remember, didn't he, like, wasn't he looking around like everybody's married but us? And she's like, well, we're not getting that. We could get this house together, but we're not getting no married. This is the most you getting from me. I don't want to be married. Remember, she used to go around saying stuff like that. So maybe that was her way of trying to push him away way back then. I like a manly man, period. Yes, exactly. A manly man, period. Sarah Bay from Paris is here. Struck me as someone who was in conflict with himself and he never liked to communicate how he felt about things. Yeah, Tom didn't strike me as a communicator. He was more of a, like, he's a kidder. But Arianna was having some hard conversations. Well, not conversations, but she revealed some hard revelations, rather, in the first part of the show that took some talking. Remember? Sarah, bonjour, mon ami. Yes, I'm arrived at the good time. Yes. What you just missed the Tom Sandoval interview with Howie Mandell. You know? Yes, James Fraser. I too like a manly man, as I want to be the feminine energy in the relationship, right? Right? Yes and no. She had financial security. Yeah, the show seems, hey, all money ain't good money. That's what we say when we're playing dominoes. And dominoes, we call the points you get money. And, and you count by fives, right? And so sometimes you can get a derivative of 5 by putting out one domino. But if you get that, then your opponents potentially can get far more money or points than your measly 5 or 10 points. They might come out with 40 points. Who knows what they're holding, right? So there's this saying we have that all money ain't good money. And the same is true in a relationship. Don't stay in a relationship because of the money. Do not stay in a relationship because of the money. Because all money ain't good money. Stay where you need to stay for your best and highest self. Don't stay for any place that's going to drag you down. Yes, Dr. Heavenly loves her husband. She loves that man. She loves him. And she would never, ever, ever do anything on this show to contradict that statement or that evidence. You know what I mean? Never, ever. I listened into the interview. It was insane, right? Yes. Happy 1 month anniversary here. I'm going to drop this because Sarah just got here too. I know she likes to talk about this. But I'm so glad that you guys listened. We're going to talk for like 15 more minutes. Then I got to go do the stuff people do. Drop this link real quick because I totally would love to hear your POV. I don't know whose team you're on. I'm team myself. And on my team, I don't think what Tom did was that bad. On my team, I don't think what Raquel did was that bad, considering not only the show they're on, it just seems like everybody was going to do it eventually. Like literally Raquel was the only one that hadn't done it at this point. And now this little dry-haired girl who looks like Wednesday's first cousin from Addams Family. What's her name? Christina Kelly? Yeah. She needs some body in her hair or something. What's good, Sarah? How are you?
It's a morning hair, but I come to. I hear the interview. First thing, to be unfaithful is not the best thing in the world. I don't think it's good. I think the big problem of all that people say that. I think it's DT and James too. Communication. We see the result.
Oh, right on. It's something about a month. Awesome.
Yes, we see the result of someone don't have the brave, don't have the courage to own the fact he's not happy anymore in that relationship and just take his feet and go away.
Yeah.
And we need to say one thing about that situation. It's happening because of that. Just say to Arianna, okay, I'm not happy anymore. I loved you really, but you are not meant for me. You are not the person I can live anymore with you, because you are not the person I want to stay with you, because you don't give me what I want. And I think you are not happy too. And I will make a comparison with the situation of Katie and Tom Schwartz. Katie, she's not the best person of the show. We knew that, but she has the courage to take her feet, ask a divorce, and get away of that situation.
Yes.
And that is the reason, because everybody say, "Who Raquel can do that?" No, who Tom and Arianna don't have the courage to speak each other and say, we are not happy anymore, we need to go.
Yes.
We need to go. She knew she was not happy anymore. She knew something is cracking on her couple. These two people can be at this most, so blind. And I will tell you that Arianna, she's a cancer. She's a cancer. Tom Sandoval is a cancer too. These two sides are very sensitive, but are very coward. And they are very, they can move for nothing. If they quit someone, they need to have someone else. Remember Prince Charles and Diana? Prince Charles is a cancer.
So he needed Camilla before he could just leave Diana.
He knew Camilla years before he was with Diana. They chose Diana. And the day of the wedding, she said few years after that, we are three on that wedding. When you see the footage of the wedding of Diana and Charles, you see Camilla, she's in white. You see Camilla, she's in white on the with the other people. She's in white.
Right. She sure
She's
was.
not a joke. So I will tell you that.
Well, that means so. Real quick, you're right. We got to give it up to Katie.
Yeah, she's not my favorite, but she had this strength. Okay.
She has the strength and the courage to be like, this isn't working.
Yes, and Tom Schwartz, but it's the best thing they break up her and Tom Schwartz. It's the best thing, because for me it's very toxic relationship and very violent in some way, allegedly, but not violent, but it's not positive. It's very toxic.
Yeah.
And for Arianna too, she was 7 years with Tom Sandoval, and she was 7 years depressed. And she doesn't have a therapist, a psychologist, and she said to her, girl, you are with 7 years with this guy, you are 7 years depressed. Just make the dots. Connect the dots.
Yeah. Well, she was depressed when he got her, though.
Yes, but she was more depressed when she was with him than, she was already depressed, but I remember...
He never helped. Remember that scene where it was her father's birthday or death day or something, and she was like, I needed you, Tom. And he was like, I'll never leave you. I'll be here with you forever. And then he's like, but they got an Airbnb and we're only going to be gone for 24 hours.
I will tell you one thing about the cancer. The cancer, it's a sign very complicated. Very, you can catch a cancer if a man, because three of my ex was a cancer. And I know one thing, they have two choices to treat a woman. If they loved you truly, you can be the first woman of the world. They're going to marry you. You are going to be the center of their life. Or they're going to treat you like a furniture, like a coach. It's true, like a coach. A coach you can sit, on that. And I will think for Arianna, he treat her like a coach. He tried to make her the first, but he will. And now when we speak about Raquel, what we see, he speak about her on the interview. At least a difference. He is so infatuated, so intoxicated by her. She will go be the center of his world. He's gonna be marry her. He's gonna be have a kids with her. He's gonna make everything with her because he chose her, not Arianna. Because Arianna, she said to him, "No, we don't get married." After that, when she said no, it was the end of the relationship.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I will let DT give his view.
Thank you, Sakabe. I just wanted to, first of all, I just wanted to say I agree with what Sakabe just mentioned in regards to Charles and Diana, because you know who else wore white at a at a royal wedding?
Who?
Waity Katie Middleton.
Katie Middleton?
Yep, she wore
Yes.
white at Meghan and Harry's wedding.
Yes, and she wore white during the wedding of Camilla and Charles because she wanted to make a revenge.
Yeah, and Camilla wore, and as Sakabe said, Clawfoot Parker Bowles wore white to Charles and Diana's wedding because
have
that
the
day
footage.
before.
You have the footage. You can find them. So much
Yeah.
people show the footage.
Yeah,
And I was-
definitely.
Oh, this. You know what?
Yeah, definitely.
I understand you have this mistress, you love her and everything, but just tell Diana since the beginning. And people say to me, no, she was so dramatic, Diana. But hey, you are 20 years old. You're gonna be with a prince. He was very sexy at his age, Charles. And you thought he was a prince
Yep.
of everybody loves you, everything, and you have a wedding and kiss, and you discover maybe 3 years after that, 5 years. You have the everybody knew of Carmela. Everybody knew. The queen knew.
Yeah.
And they don't said her anything. I think if people said since the beginning the truth, she's gonna be alive today, and she's gonna be stay with Charles because it's gonna be an agreement. But
Yeah, exactly.
And it's why maybe the story. But I will let DT finish.
Yes.
Thank you, Sakabe. And LRGA Curves. I just wanted to say, all I can think about was this particular song in my head that I've been singing quite a lot lately. And the song goes like this: Your man is my man, and my man is your man. It would take an eternity to break us, and the chains of our mistake wouldn't hold us.
Oh, I love that. The boy is mine. I don't know, man. I don't know how to sing, but you can sing it. But you sing very, very beautifully. But boy is mine remind me that song with Brandy and Monica.
Oh no, this is Your Love Is My Love, but I re-edited the words.
Yes, I love Whitney Houston, but I think you have the song "The Boy Is Mine" too.
Yes, the boy is mine.
And you have the song with. You can give that.
But yeah, it was just that entire interview was just. I found it. I was just like, here goes Tom, saying everything the same way he did again. It was just like.
What was the thing with like? Was that his connector word? Is that his touchstone for the next lie? Is for him to say like?
Well, yeah, definitely. As I said to Shay B, when someone repeats a particular word, a lot of times you can tell that they're thinking of the next answer. So, for him, they're just like, he just went like, and it's just like, okay.
Thanks for coming through, Shay B.
Thank you, Shay B. Why are you here spinning it? Because it basically just sounded like it was all Arianna's fault that he hooked up with Raquel, and because of that, this happened. And I'm just like, well, as I said in the comments, well, if you were that unhappy and you were that lonely, you should have just went to want to be a man-ho at the silk market or the red light district.
Right, like go pay for something instead of use one of the friends of the friend group to blow up the spot. Like that's just ridiculous.
Well, yeah, exactly. But this is the grand tradition of Vanderpump Rules, is that they will always
get
caught and sleep with each other because that's what always happens.
Right. Amazing. These answers were was that like I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but I have opinions, and allegedly he seemed a little narcissistic with his answers about like everything was just the perfect storm of poor me. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, definitely,
I
definitely
don't.
was
I will
narcissistic.
tell you that I don't think it's a true narcissistic because I'm psychologist. I can say that it's not a true narcissistic, but it's a man who is coward and he doesn't want to take any responsibility of his action. So yes, it's gonna be like that. Like any man when he caught with a cheating situation, he said, "No, the situation is not like what you think. It was very different." I think it's very masculine, compared to what the say do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Frenchmen are like that. You have these sentences. It's not what you believe, honey. You can cut him in your bed, in any bed with you, with another woman. He said to you, "It's not what you believe, honey.
Oh
It's
no.
not what you believe." It's truly that. Some men always say that. He's a cancer. Cancer doesn't own any, responsibility. I will tell you how that my exes, 2 of my exes are like that. We had a long story, but it's not that, when I speak with them and say, "You make me hurt, you hurt me. I'm so sorry now, I understand." They twist the speeches to say, "I'm hurt to say that, but I know it's important to say that to me. And I'm so hurt when you say that, you are hurting by me, but I'm so sorry, so sorry." When you see the conversation we had together, these 2 men differently at different times, it's always the same. They make you feel they are the victim of the situation. Always. A cancer guy is like that. They are, very a victim mode. They are very selfish. Very selfish. I will tell you what, they are very selfish. If they don't, want you to be the first woman in their life, you are like a coach. And we see that what Diti said is exactly that. Victim mode.
Yeah, victim mode, and that's always been the thing with
Yeah.
all the male characters, from Jax to James to Tom to Schwartz to every single male character on Vanderpump Rules, is that they've always viewed themselves as the victim of women's charms, and it's just like, no, you're the victim of your own.
Of your penis.
Yeah, of your.
Well, in Tom Schwartz case, of his lips.
Remember,
Because he only likes
we can
kiss.
say the P word on the YouTube. You need to make a beep on that.
Of your, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they've yep. But they've just been, it's like, you're not the victim of women's charms, you're the victim of your own eggplant being unable to control themselves itself.
Yeah, well, his peen, rather. Don't let your peen control you and you won't be in trouble. Don't be community peen if you're in a relationship. It's simple. Just don't.
You know what I found very sad at the end? This situation of Tom Sandoval and Raquel make Kristen Dahl coming back on the show, and I think truly, not during that season, but maybe on the next season. The next is coming after the reunion.
Yeah.
She showed a comeback.
Oh, then
I see. Sure. I see an interview for her from E. Very, she makes few days or maybe 1 week or 2 with E. People say, "Oh, I'm so happy she's coming back on Vanderpump," and say, "Do you remember what she said?" We have the footage. I found them on YouTube.
That's what we do.
Don't forget. Everybody make everything what Kristen Dahl, I know, and Stacey make under the carpet. Under the carpet. And now they come back because Raquel, she's a bad person. I'm saying she doesn't try to make anyone to go in jail.
Right.
She doesn't say, black people are not important and why they need to stop to cry because of the Oscar and patati patata. It's not my word. It's a Stassi word. Please, to anyone, I'm not
That's
racist.
What Stassi said.
Yes, Stassi said that.
That is what Stassi said,
quote, and quote, black people stop to be crying. It's, reformulated of the Oscar and yes, but I no. And we understand you. I find the footage of that. I send to LRGA,
Yeah.
and I will tell you that I will repost it, and I will give it so much time to people to just she can forget that.
Yeah, we shouldn't forget that because she hasn't made amends yet, I don't feel, for that behavior. Like I don't know how to make amends for being a racist, but don't be one. And then maybe do some community. Okay, remember that list of things Kyrie Irving had to do in order to prove that he wasn't racist against that he wasn't anti-Semitic. Remember they gave him a list. He had to meet with
they did.
He had to take a class. He had to take a separate class from the class. He had to pay a fine. He had to pay reparations. And he had to do 6 things. So I feel like everybody who's anti-Black should do the same list that Kyrie had to do. We'll just take your list. We don't even need a whole new list, but we'll take the list that Kyrie had to do and apply it to Stassi, to Kristen, to Ramona Sanger, to Jenny Wynn, to all of the problem children of our reality shows.
Oh, let's not forget Luann the man.
Oh, Luann and her suntan, not a tan, Black body. Yes. And then we might even have to give some over to the ladies over on New Jersey. I mean, they don't even have a Black friend, you guys. It's been 13 years. You would think that one Black friend would have fell out of the sky by now or been passed by on the way into that posh store or something. Not even
exactly.
I don't know because because of New Jersey they have because they are already friends. It's a true friend group. This one show we can say.
No, but that's the
problem is
that doesn't count. That doesn't. So that means they really are racist in real life. That they don't have no friends except for them in real life.
Maybe they don't know anyone on that group.
Hey, on all the other shows, they make them get to know you. So just spread it around. That's part of what discrimination is. Actually, is when you would let one person get away with it. Why are they forced? Our sale on this show because it has to happen. I don't care.
But she was friend with Arianna and Denise Richard during 20 years.
But I don't care if it's I'm sure that's what I'm saying. Not any of them know not one Black person to introduce to the show.
Yes.
Really?
Or maybe they don't want to come to the show when this is a circus is. Maybe that too. We don't think of that.
Well, then they need to let it be known because I know Remy Ma was approached for New York, Real Housewives of New York.
Yes, that's right.
Allegedly the same time they were looking at Ebony and they went with Ebony, but she lived in New Jersey, so they wouldn't let her come on New York. Who did she know on New York that they were going to plop her on there? She lives in New Jersey, let her go on that show, but they're not going to let it happen because there's not going to be any more melanin over there that you can't spray out of a bottle.
Yeah, exactly.
I think for New Jersey, I think truly, if someone can propose me to come on the show, I will say no because it's so messy. It's so messy.
Well, yeah,
it's so messy. I think some people they I truly think that. I think they was asking to some people to come, but they say no. It's a very big circus for me.
Yeah.
So much violence. I think they ask, but maybe the people don't want to come.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that situation is going to be happening because, they are so wild and not to be racist, but they are so drinking, yelling, so, violent. And I think if a Black person go on that, it will be that woman be afraid to be the Black angry woman. You know that, LRGA?
Well, I feel like I don't know. She could get on there and be like Garcelle too. So I don't think that's up to anybody else to decide or to portray. I mean, I feel that overall, what my bottom line is that they haven't introduced anybody because they don't know anybody. And if you don't know anybody who's another race in 2023, if you don't know a person of color, 2023, it's a problem. That's weird. That's weird. Everybody knows a person of color, don't you? I mean, don't most people have
Yes.
one person of color that like you could be like, oh yeah, my good friend so and so.
Technically,
From-
I'm the
Well, yeah,
of
exactly.
myself, so yes. Technically, I'm the color. I'm the person of color, but I'm not.
Yeah, I know. But they don't even have a you on there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they can have, yeah, there, Jennifer Hayden, she's a Turkish. She's white, but
Jennifer is not a person of color.
no. Technically, she's a Turkish people are considered in Europe not person of color, but
Yeah, they're not
immigrant.
considered a person of color. They're not. She's not. Just
Well, she doesn't consider herself a
just
person of
because
color.
she
That's the
started
thing.
smoking weed, you're not gonna put that on her. That
No,
she-
it's not of the weed
Uh-uh.
thing. It's more, of the fact because if she was more, you can have some different shade of in Turkish, woman. You can be very, more, with more other complexion. But technically, when I apply for some American program, I need to apply on the African on the minority of Africa. But
The UAE, right?
yes, when I apply for a US program, I apply they ask me, are you coming from a minority? I say yes. And it was very strange because they make black, a black African and African, and I put on African. But when did you have any thing to say to me? I say yes, I'm African, but they don't think you have other color in Africa. They don't think everybody is black.
Right. We are. That's because that's what they do in America is reduce it to a color.
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like for me, if I was to apply for an American visa, I'd be under the Asia Pacific Island brand.
So who?
Because I'm a Pacific Islander.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So you
It's
technically would be.
Yes, we don't have the choice, because I have two nationalities and it's very strong. And my first nationality is from, North Africa. And yes, they think, and I call them because it's something you can call them and say, okay, but what is for my case? I think, if
Yeah.
you can have someone coming from other country but we don't have, when I see Jennifer Hayden, I don't understand.
She's not Turkish. If you Google are Turkish people black, no, they're not.
No,
They have if you're black in
black,
Turkey, then they call you an Afro Turk. Then you're Afro Turkish. She is not identifying as no Afro Turkish nothing.
No, she's not Afro, but
I don't even know if she identifies as Turkish. Because if I'm being really honest,
she's Muslim, because normally in Turkish you need the religion is Muslim. It's a Muslim.
Yeah, definitely.
And she drinks alcohol, so
she drinks until she falls on her face.
Yes, and she also eat pig. And I said, but I don't know if they are maybe Jew. They are Jew, maybe they can be Jews, possible.
I don't
know.
Not
because Jews don't eat pork either.
Yes, allegedly some Jews don't, but I don't know. But
but she might be
Christian.
Orthodox. Yeah, Christian.
Yeah, she may be
maybe she's Orthodox Christian.
Yes, it's
because
true.
of
Yes, it's why they immigrate, because yes, the question of the mixing, if in Vanderpump we had one black person and she was almost goes in jail because of the madness of people. And Lisa Vanderpump, she doesn't say anything. The production too. Anyone now.
That rubbed me the wrong way too. That Lisa Vanderpump, to this day, has not reached out to Faith Stour. To this day,
and she was
not.
Well, no, because she doesn't feel the need to, because she's just like every other white British person.
Yeah.
Who goes overseas and encounters people of color. We have that same exact type of British people here in New Zealand. Mm-hmm. They are very much anti-brown, and they are not afraid to tell you that they don't like brown people.
Yeah, but if you say you don't like clear people, then it's a whole trip to the place.
Well, yeah, they will start accusing you of racism, but
Yeah.
of reverse racism. But but that's the thing. Lisa Vanderpump is just like every other quintessential British person that has left the UK in the 70s.
Yep. Yep.
It's a big reason why we have this big event. Sorry, LRGA Curves.
No, go ahead. No, no, no. I'm listening. I'm learning.
Oh, that's all right. It's a big reason why we have this event called. We had this piece of New Zealand history called the Dawn Raids,
Oh, yeah.
where
Remember.
where Pacific Islanders were rounded up in chains in the Auckland central suburbs and forcibly deported back to the Pacific, even though we had a demand of labor
Yeah.
that was needed to be fulfilled in the 50s. And the reason why was because British people and white British people and white South Africans came to New Zealand and were like, we don't want to see brown people. And they acted the same exact way when they had Bastion Point in 1975, when the Māori people were protesting over their ancestral rights to the land.
Right.
So
It's just
yeah,
global. This white supremacy is freaking global. It's like a global
yeah,
cancer. It's so crazy. Because my son was learning in his ELA class, they were reading about hula and traditions, and
yes,
how I'm listening to his teacher have to explain why was hula so important to the locals. Oh, because when the Europeans came over and tried to make them stop hula, they visited Hawaii and made the locals stop hula. They outlawed hula dancing in Hawaii. But you
yeah.
visited Hawaii. I already live here, fool. This is my entire house. This is my land, fool.
Exactly.
Well,
My house and telling me what music to play. That's like getting in somebody's car and changing the music station. Everybody knows that shit don't fly. How you gonna go
they
to
did
a whole other country and do that shit?
exactly, and they did the same exact thing with the Māori people here. They passed laws which banned the use of Māori language
Yeah.
until the 70s, because hula was, and reverting back to your comment about hula was a form of worship.
Yeah.
Hula was a form of worship. Dance was used as an expression of worship,
Mhm.
and so they suppressed it because it was a way to try and
Convert you to
anglicize,
Christian. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
convert you to Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so funny that, especially in the 50s, when white Americans were getting all, thinking about the Dusky Maiden, that's when they started commercializing hula and pineapples,
Yeah.
which has become quintessentially, even though, if you talk to local Hawaiians, they'll be like, we can't stand that.
Yeah.
But it's what a lot of white people think of when it comes to Hawaii.
Yeah. It's horrible. It's the ignorance is.
Oh,
Ooh.
you don't imagine what the white people, UK and Belgium and French do in Africa. It was so worse. Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's so
Oh, but
crazy.
they
Oh
come
yeah.
from place.
Look what Tom Sandoval's discussion made us go to. Look.
we see
We
the-
listen to his side of the story and we end up in colonizer freaking conversation, because that was just taking
I will tell
the
you
highest
that. I
advantage.
will tell you that because we see what it's the supremacy of one kind of type of people do at the end.
Yes.
Exactly. And even who was that other lady that was with Howie Mandell?
Oh, that's his daughter.
What's her
his
name?
daughter. She's
I
all
forgot.
grown up now. Yes. So I don't know if you're familiar with Howie Mandell. I grew up on Howie Mandell. I know him ever since he was a comedian. When he was just starting out, he would go to Star Search and all those shows. So not only is he a judge now, but he used to be a contestant on them shows when I was growing up. And his famous shtick was he could take a rubber glove, and he loves rubber gloves to this day because he's a germaphobe, and he would put it on the top of his head with the fingers on the top, and then he would put it down over just his nose and blow up the freaking glove with his nose breath to make it look like rooster hands on his head.
Oh, that's right. No, I remember now. because wasn't he also a judge on America's Got Talent?
Yes. And he's still a
played-
germaphobe.
Yes.
Yeah,
He
and he's
played on Sex and the City, the husband of Charlotte is why I know him.
he's the husband of Charlotte.
Yes, in Sex and the City.
Charlotte is his husband, his wife in real life. IRL.
No. On the show.
Oh, I was getting ready to say, ooh, he did good.
No, on the show. But he played
But-
the husband of Charlotte. He was a Jew lawyer, and he was very funny character on
He
the
is
show.
hilarious. Howie Mandell
Yeah.
is freaking comedy gold. Love him.
But-
And he's always been very wholesome. And
Yeah.
he also the voice of Bobby on a cartoon.
Mm.
And he was all
That's
the
right.
voices on the cartoon. And remember, he said he did it for his kids. Well, now his kid and him do a podcast.
Yeah, that's right. I was just because I think Lagi, you mentioned that his daughter kept comparing Tom to like black men.
Yeah, she was like, well, at least he's not Michael Vick. At least he's not Chris Brown.
See, and that's the thing.
Chris
That's
Brown
the thing. I think
not the same situation at all. Some people doesn't understand that.
What were you going to say, DT?
I was just going to say that in regards to that talk we had about colonizer mentality and all that, and white supremacy and all that. White supremacy is the fact that this girl can come up on a podcast and be like, well, at least you're not like all these black men, in order to make his feelings feel a lot better, because he's out here trying to spin the narrative against his ex-girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, poor thing. And even her dad though was like, ooh, don't do that.
Yeah. And it's just like, oh, here we go again.
Yes.
Like,
But
here we go again.
I see what Tom tried to do on narrative. He tried to make the narrative, it's a love. It's not just an affair. It's a true love. I think.
Yeah, exactly.
He tried to make that narrative to people say, but is it just, because when you say it's a love, like I fall in love for her, it was a stroke in the air. They say, oh, and women when say, but they love together, they need to stay together. He tried to make that coming, that narrative.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He tried
and you just didn't get to
say, yes, but we love each other. We truly love. I think I know where he's gonna be take this inspiration from. The Hills with who she's calling these two the blonde and the blonde. It's Heidi and Spencer Pratt. He tried to
yeah.
that narrative too, but we love each other.
Yep.
We love each other no matter what, people. And it's why now allegedly she's gone with Tom Sandoval to see his family, but the family of Tom doesn't want to see
I don't believe that. I don't know.
I'm not too sure about that, but I just wanted to say, before I have to drop off because I have to go get ready for dinner, but like, I haven't seen the show in like 5 to 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, and like hearing that whole entire interview tonight, and also watching a couple of the lives you did, Laga, on the show, I'm just like, the same exact dynamics are happening again. It's just like
evolve.
Yeah, marriage, affairs, and someone trying to write a song.
Yeah.
Marriage, affairs, someone trying to write a song. Marriage, affairs, someone trying to write a song. Threesomes,
Or make a book now. Or make
affairs,
a podcast.
and someone trying to write a song.
Yeah.
Now it's a podcast, it's a book, and I think it's very sad because we see them doesn't evolve at all. I see they are 40s. Tom Schwartz and Tom Sandoval are all these women, and when I see Katie, her last interview, she was on fire against Sheena. She was on fire against all these women, and I say, okay, what you give like example for a woman at your age of 36 to get divorced and to be mean like a hell like that?
Yeah, it's bitter. She's bitter.
What Raquel say, what we see, it's a woman like a Lala, Raquel, Katie, Arianna, she's only Sheena always gravitate around men, always hurt, always in some servitude way, or slavery. I use a standard because of the way to be servant to the man and need to have a man, and Ali too. I need to have a man. It's the center of my world.
Exactly.
On the last episode, we see Lala speaking with Ali, and she's speaking also about Raquel, and say, "Don't get like a Raquel and me. Don't get your life around anyone. And when you wake up on the morning, you say, what's going to be happening of my life because it was just fed up." And it's true. We see what I know. What is the problem? About this woman? They make a man just the center of their world.
Yeah,
exactly.
She lived her
On
life
that note,
around of Tom Sandoval, but the only person
exactly.
happy on her life with her husband is LVP, because her and Ken, they are partner. And what is the center of their world?
They're partners and all, but now I'm starting to I don't really care about LVP right now. She should have done more to help the black people.
Of couples on that show.
But now I guess she's trying to make it up, trying to help Oliver be on, the show and everything. But she didn't want to help a black woman, but she helped Oliver. So because I guess maybe she's trying to make up for it or something.
Yes,
you still can't make up for it, in my opinion.
She love young boy because she always want to be a mom, because she doesn't have she Pandora is her own kin, but she doesn't have her own son. And I think she's on the way because she loves Garcelle, and he have the same age of her son, and I think her son have and James too. They have not her son, but James and Oliver.
Max.
He loves, Max. He doesn't have any problem with any, addiction, but James and Oliver too. And
maybe that. Well, it could be, but
he loves that.
Overall.
On that note, sorry.
Yes, thank you for coming through, DT. Happy belated birthday, happy early birthday, and happy
birthday.
Thanks for coming through and spending time with us. We love you over here. Everybody wish DT a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, DT.
Right. Thank you, Laga. Thank you, Paris. I'm gonna log off now, but I just wanted to say thank you all so much, and I'll just come down. All right.
Okay. Thanks a lot, love. Au revoir.
Bye.
And Sarah Bay from Paris. I wanted to cut this off right at 2 hours. I have to go finish up some stuff.
Me too.
Before I go spend quality time with the husband, because look, as a woman that's in a committed relationship, I know that there's some things I got to do. Now, look, I'm going to go in there and talk to my man. And if we're up to it, we might have a little sexing. Okay.
Oh,
because
no, please.
You have to be able to.
I don't want to hear that. It's like my.
You have to look. Because Arianna found out the hard way. If you don't do it and then bring somebody around who will, then you can't be mad when it gets done. Well, you can be mad, and you should be mad, because he should have talked to you first, like we already said. The bottom line that we got through in this video of listening to Tom, communication, you guys. Thanks for coming through. I hope you smash the like button, smash the subscribe button on your way in, on your way out, in the replay. Hit my bell, ring my bells, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for coming in.
Bye. I could help. Bye.
Thanks a lot, Curvies, for coming through. Leave a comment if you catch this in the replay. What did you think of Tom's apology, not apology? This is my reason that I did it. I thought the interview overall was really good. I love Howie Mandell. I thought he did a great interview, pretty much. And yeah, that was good research. I'm glad to finally hear from the horse's mouth why he hooked up, when he hooked up, and what were the circumstances of him and Arianna's relationship at the time of the hookup. And we found it all out. Thanks for sharing your story, Tom. Thanks for asking those good questions, Howie Mandell. I'll be sure to put the link in the description. And Curvies, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.